I just want to, Dean asked me to talk about a couple things, but what I usually talk about at these is songs and writing, and not only as an encouragement, but as hopefully an educational tool. So for 10 minutes I'll talk about songwriting and tell a couple stories about the importance of it. And I signed my first publishing deal in 1977. I was 2. So I've been one of the lucky people to be a songwriter primarily for 40 years. And the biggest thing you learn when you do it for a living is you get that rare opportunity to see when you're trying to speak at these things. In fact, I've told Gene a million times, I don't enjoy this because I don't feel helpful. I don't feel like I can really help people unless you're doing it one-on-one or 2 at a time. Amen. Because it's so hard to get up here and go, well, show me how to write a hit song. You know, well, come to the board here. You know, it's like, if we all knew how to write hit songs, trust me, my Bentley and my driver would have pulled up here. No, nobody knows that 100%. But what happens when you do it professionally and you have success is you get that tonal reference. I still remember when I finally had a really good publishing deal. And, you know, you're younger and you're nervous because you want to succeed, because you like the gig. And I remember I accidentally, one day I was writing, and this guy comes over to write to me. I'd never met him before. And it's a writer named Brian White. I don't know if you've ever heard of him or not, but Brian's a very successful Christian and country writer. So I'd never written with him before. And Brian goes, what do we have? You know, we're in a little room. He had a mullet, which was weird. And a pretty ugly shirt on. So I go, well, I have this idea. So we wrote this song, and it became massive. It was remember Michael English? Anybody ever heard of him? Yeah. But it was a Michael English song at his peak, Holding Out Hope to You. Wow. So you have this massive door-opening song. But I remember in my brain going, you know, like the old Saturday Night Live skit, I don't want to be a one-termer. Yeah. Whether mocking George Bush Sr. I need another hit, Lord. Please. Oh, man. But you started really focusing on things that until you feel it. Until you feel how when a song works. And I don't mean it's different than if you're just writing for your church. And there is nothing wrong with that. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Glenn Fry I was listening to that said there's levels of art. I personally love music so much I would do it for nothing. I sometimes sit in my house and play side 2 of Abbey Road because I can, and my dog's the only one, and I'm not even sure he likes it. Every now and then I'll tell him how great I am. Give him a treat. Give her a treat. Yeah. Oh. But some people are here. Some people God's called to write a song for a children's musical at a Presbyterian church in Midland, Texas, and you know, some people aren't. There's people I know in here right now who I know have a bigger burden on them. God's called to do bigger things, but just talking, increasing the skill of your songwriting. But the main thing you learn is what makes a song click. Like when you're trying to write a song, you have a thought, and you go, man, I love this thought. It's a great thought. Whatever it might be. Well, then you're going, well, how do I get this thought to resonate where people see and feel the thought? And there's where the skill comes in. And like I said, I don't think anybody that I've ever met is concrete. I know how to do this every time. I know tons of extremely successful songwriters. Trust me, I tell people this, I have 2,200 published songs. I have written more bad songs than this whole room combined, multiplied by a variable of 5. I mean, I have probably 1,600 of the worst songs you ever heard in your life. Embarrassing songs. So I'm saying that to say nobody knows for sure. But what I try to help people do, it's like going to college. When you work with people above you, that's how I got started. I was just lucky enough in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. These iconic people would let me hang out and they would even work with me. They had no business even letting me in the building. I was nobody. I was just a little noisy kid. But you're learning. And even when I got to Nashville, being around Eddie Rabbitt and Even Stevens and David Malloy's and Tom Schuyler's, and you're around it, you're feeling it, you're seeing it, you're listening to it. That's the main way that I know if somebody was really going, Joe, I have to figure out how to do this at a higher level. That's the main thing I would say is we've got to figure out how to get you working with people who are so much better than you that at first you're going to be intimidated.
That's great.
And that is where we come to Master Songwriters, which is a company I launched. And it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, trust me. But it is a way for any writer at any level, anywhere in the world to sign up, join Master Songwriters, and for 2 hours, they can write with Billy Sprague. They can write with Bill Shore, who wrote Garth Brooks' hits. They can write with, and all it mostly is it's not a this. As much as I'm full of it, and you can tell, I'm one of the guys. I can tell some stories. What I'm trying to teach writing, the best way to do it is shut your mouth and write a song. So you get these sessions are not, well, let me tell you about a bridge. Or, have you thought about your hook line? No, this is, you got an idea? Okay, let's write a song.
That's great.
So for 2 hours, you are writing a song with an iconic songwriter. There's the learning. That's how I learned how to write.
Wow.
It was just thrown into the fire with somebody. And trust me, and I know Gary's probably done this, and I know Erskine's probably done this, but it's like, it is bizarre. Like I remember one time, my publisher called me and said, hey, Gary Wright's in town and wants to write. Now, I don't know if y'all know who Gary Wright is, but Dreamweaver, he's an iconic Hall of Fame pop artist who is the only guy I ever knew he actually played piano on All Things Must Pass by George Harrison. So you're sitting in this house writing with Gary Wright. It takes you, the first time I sat down with Michael O'Mardian, there's like about 20 seconds where you're going, you know, the Three Stooges thing. You're scared, you're nervous, you're like, what am I doing here? So when you work with these people, if you ever decide you want to try it, give yourself, but I randomly have picked people, and I'm always looking for other people that, when you do this your whole, all of us is this way. When you start off in life, I told somebody in the hall a while ago, I'm a recovering egomaniac. From about 16 to 40, I literally thought I'm the answer, God. I know I'm the greatest. Somewhere around pushing 50, I went the total opposite, where I'm going, I'm an absolute idiot. Everything I think is stupid. I can't do anything right, God. How did did I even get here? No, I wish I was kidding. But if you knew me, I even apologized to Gary because he came to see me as a VP of a record company, and I'm going, I apologize. Before you say anything, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's too good.
The balance of how you use your ego is challenging when you do this profession. But I'm real big on the main thing I see with most people that are out there trying. I even spoke a couple years ago at, I don't remember the name of it. What's the one they do at Rocketown? Impact or no? That sounds like something I made up.
Something
Extreme.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that one. That'd make a good song. But I remember telling people this, and I want to drive this home as anybody who's aspiring to be a songwriter. Because mostly at Extreme, it's all these younger people I wished I was with cool, those shirts we buy at, where do my kids go, where they sell used clothing? Goodwill. You're living in plush Brentwood, you're sending them to private schools, and where do they go to buy their clothes at? Goodwill.
Oh, that's too funny.
But I was telling these people, these guys get together, they form a band, they practice. Look, I can play like John Mayer now. Look at me go! And I can sing like Sting. And they practice and they slave. And they spend almost 3 years coming up with their name.
Wow.
We are sausage for Jesus. You're like, I don't even know where they get these names. You're like going, wow. Okay. Is that in Deuteronomy? But I said, you finally get noticed, you get a record deal, you just spent 5 years learning how to do your craft of playing, and you write the whole album in 5 minutes. How many songs have you written? Oh, we've never written a song. To me, that is so stupid, it's scary.
Yeah.
That would be like hiring me to be your tech person if Bill Gates called me. Hey, Joe, we need you to come run Apple. I don't even know I'm just now learning how to turn my computer on. That's how ridiculous people are with songwriting.
Oh, wow.
They do not understand that just like playing the piano, or just like playing a bass, or singing, we tend to blame God a lot. We tend to go, well, the Holy Spirit came down on me. You're like, some of these songs you're going, the God who created the sound of wind as the lead vocalist with a babbling stream and the wind as a backtrack did not create that song. Okay? I know him. He's been #1 on the charts for 8,000 years. He didn't write that song. And I'm sorry your mother likes it. No. We blame everything on God. But I'll tell you something too, and it's as a guy who's been very blessed beyond what I'm worthy of.
Wow.
It has always irritated me that religious music, because I didn't start, my father in heaven right now, we were Church of Christ. So if I went over to this piano and played one of my songs, well, how's that express train to hell looking like?
Oh, man.
Church of Christ people don't back, especially when I was growing up. It was a cappella singing.
Oh, wow.
But I remember I was amazed when I got into Christian music by accident through Brian White. I'll tell you a funny story about that. When I was 20, I was still in college, but I had a publishing deal. And I was in Muscle Shoals. It's probably 81, let's say. It's somewhere in that area. And I'm in the studio, these big Muscle Shoals studios like you would see. It wasn't Muscle Shoals Sound, it was East Avalon, where a number of people you would know recorded albums and produced records there. But I'm hanging out with my friend Steve Moore, and I go by on a Friday or something. I walk in there, and there's music. They're recording, and I'm hanging there with coffee. Hey, Steve, what is this? This is good. He goes, well, that's Michelle Pillar. Do you know her? And I went, no. And who's the other guy? Well, that's Will McFarland. Oh yeah, Will, hey. And I go, what is this? He goes, well, this is Christian contemporary music. And I said this. I said, I like this. I could do this. And he was smoking a cigarette. He looked at me and he goes, if you do, I'll kick your ass. So I'm 18, and I just go, don't do it. So 10 years later, and the winner is Joe Beck, and you're on the stage picking up your dove award, you're going, thank you. I hope Steve doesn't catch me. I never even thought about Christian music, but when I got into it at a high level, it always fascinated me that Christians doing music have more of a dollar store general view of it than, say, a Picasso or even music, the Beatles. They just want to follow. And it gets in you can't get it out. Now, we're all influenced. Everybody is influenced because that's the way God made us. But I've always said it irritates me that we let Bono raise $100 million. We let Elton John raise $250 million with their art. And we can't raise $5 to pay for this meeting. It's disgusting. And we always think of ourselves as the stepchildren.
Wow.
You know, whatever is popular in the world. But yet, when you research artistic history, what are some of the greatest pieces of art ever? The Sistine Chapel.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
It's the Lord's, the Last Supper. And Handel's Messiah.
Yeah.
Somewhere over the last 100 years, we just took the keys to art out and just threw it over there and go, we don't know how to do this anymore, but we'll follow you wherever you lead us.
Well,
I just wish Christians would understand the power of what we can do with art.
Hallelujah.
And I'll use a rough term, we need to stop sucking.
yeah.
Okay? It's that simple. We need to go farther. I'll give you, tell me when I need to shut up.
Bro, you're hitting eight
To
cylinders.
give you an example of what I'm talking about, there was a song I wrote with Connie Harrington and Ty Lacey, two people in different tax bracket than me now.
Oh, wow.
But we wrote this song one time. We were all writing, and we had this song. And pretty much like you've heard it on the radio, but it was called I Can't Live a Day Without Hope.
Oh, wow.
So for 3 years, nobody would record this song because when you heard the whole song and you get to the hook line, I can't live a day without hope, you pull a hamstring. I used to call it I can't live a day without Bob Hope. So it's one word in a 4-minute song that whether you know it or not, you've all heard it. It's an Avalon song primarily, but it's been recorded. So here's this whole song. One word in it. Hope, as opposed to you.
Oh, wow.
Kept that song from being recorded for 4 years.
Wow.
Change one word and it's been on 6 million records.
Wow.
That's what people don't realize.
Wow,
there is
man.
a craft to this.
That's amazing.
There's a craft to it, but it only comes, it's just like being a doctor or no matter how much my passion for surgery is, I still got to go to Vanderbilt and get a doctor's degree and do an internship because every spleen is different. You need to learn the craft of it. So what we're trying to offer people is the opportunity, because that's what's sad to me about when I started, it was possible to stumble into mentors. It wasn't even that big of a deal. If you came to Nashville and you had talent and you were driven and you could suffer and you could find somebody to believe in you, and then they would introduce you to this person. And nowadays, with the way culture is, it's hard because there's no money in it. So it's real hard to raise your level. to get to work with people who have a passion for helping. I was raised on the cycle. People helped me and for no apparent reason, and I'm supposed to pass the buck and help other people. That's the way the music business used to work. Yeah. Bob Dylan's and Chuck Berry's and the Everly Brothers, they helped the Beatles and the Hollies and Crosby just from their experience. And that's what we offer. It's experience. It's knowledge of the truth. And before I let you go, that's my big thing. Even today, I am seeking truth, not just spiritual truth, but what gets more